is CTV News.
Good evening. I'm Sanjay Maru. Thanks for joining us. Canadian airlines are putting travel to Cuba on hold amid the ongoing fuel shortage there. 4 major airlines have now canceled planned flights to the Caribbean country in the midst of a busy travel season. But amid those cancellations, what rights do travelers have for potential compensation? CTV's Robert Lothian kicks things off tonight.
Searching for an escape from the grasp of a cold Canadian winter, Steve Martin and his girlfriend felt Cuba was the answer.
The beaches are beautiful and the people are spectacular.
Martin's Friday flight, along with all other Sunwing travel to Cuba, has been grounded. Airlines WestJet and Air Transat following suit.
In the last week or so, as some of the shortages really were excessive, kind of figured out we wouldn't be making the trip.
Fuel shortages come as U.S. President Donald Trump threatens tariffs on any country supplying oil to Cuba. Aviation officials on the island warning airlines earlier this week planes won't be able to refuel in their country. At YQG, a weekly flight to Veradero could be done for the season.
We do have other sun destinations, and I would encourage people to take a look at those if they're affected, and hopefully this will resolve itself, if not this year, in the coming years, and we'll be able to offer Cuba again.
Booking elsewhere, though, at this time of year may be costly. According to the Travel Industry Council of Ontario, travelers with canceled flights have 3 options.
They either owe you a refund, a voucher, or if you want to travel to a different destination at a different time. But the key there, it's the consumer's choice, not the tour operators.
Cuban tourism officials issued a statement saying the Cuba Tourist Board in Toronto offers its most sincere apologies to the thousands of passengers whose long-awaited vacations have been disrupted. For Martin, he'll need to see more certainty in the country's situation before planning travel to Cuba.
So you feel for the people, but I'm also grateful that it didn't happen while we were already down there, because you feel for the travelers that are down there now looking for alternative flights.
Airlines say they are sending empty planes to pick up stranded Canadian passengers. There is hope that some regular flights to Cuba could resume as early as this spring. But with ongoing turbulence, it's safe to say that any trips will come with great caution. Robert Lothian, CTV News, Windsor.
6 Republicans have defied the White House, joining Democrats in voting against Trump's tariffs on Canada.
The joint resolution is passed.
The House voting 219 to 211 in favor of the resolution aimed at terminating the fentanyl emergency Trump invoked last year before imposing tariffs on Canadian imports. The measure is largely symbolic, though, and is likely to be vetoed by the president if it survives a Senate vote. Trump, meanwhile, posting this on Truth Social tonight, saying, quote, Canada has taken advantage of the United States on trade for many years. They are among the worst in the world to deal with, especially as it relates to our northern border. Tariffs make a win for us easy. Republicans must keep it that way. More fallout tonight from Donald Trump's threats to delay the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge. Now we're learning, according to a report from the New York Times, the owners of the Ambassador Bridge held a high-level conversation with a Trump administration official just before that now infamous social media post. As CTV's Travis Fortnum reports, that development is resulting in calls from at least one city councilor to boycott driving across the Ambassador Bridge.
A Windsor City Councilor is urging residents to rethink how they get across the border.
If you have the ability to choose between the Ambassador Bridge or the Windsor-Detroit Tunnel, choose the tunnel.
Ward 7 Rep. Angelo Marignani is not going so far as to call for a boycott, but he, like many, isn't happy in the wake of New York Times reporting, saying sources were briefed on a meeting between the Ambassador Bridge owner Matthew Maroon and U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, not long before Trump took to social media threatening to block the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge.
I was in shock, but then you started hearing how the Maroon family actually lobbied to get this done, and that information then came forward, and that sort of sparked this.
In a media availability Tuesday, Michigan Congresswoman Debbie Dingell also saying she was told a meeting between Maroon and Lutnick took place, though the White House has declined to comment. Former Michigan Governor Rick Snyder, who helped negotiate the original agreement for the new crossing, says delay only benefits one player.
The Maroons are the only party that benefits from delaying the bridge. They make a lot more money at the expense of Canadian and American consumers and everyone else that would benefit with the new bridge being opened.
Snyder notes the Maroon family has opposed the Gordie Howe Bridge since the very beginning, including issuing a string of legal challenges aimed at stopping it.
So it's clear they found someone to talk to. I don't know if it was Lutnick or someone else, but they got someone to go talk to the president and give him bad information.
Windsor's mayor saying this is a unique quirk of having an international crossing held in private hands.
I get it. His job is to do what's right for his businesses and his crossing. My job as mayor is to protect my community and the people who live here. And so I'll do my job. He will do his job.
CTV News has reached out to the Ambassador Bridge Company for comment from Matthew Maroon, but did not hear back by deadline. Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
Police in Arizona have reportedly released a man detained for questioning in the search for the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. Authorities say the man was detained during a traffic stop in the small town of Rio Rico, just south of Tucson. A home was also searched. CNN is reporting he has since been released. A man who identified himself as Carlos says he was the person held at the scene for hours. He says he worked in Tucson delivering packages.
Do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know. Might have been a possibility. I don't know.
All this happening just hours after the FBI released doorbell camera footage from outside the home of Nancy Guthrie the night she disappeared. The video showing a masked person wearing gloves and carrying a backpack. Authorities say the person was armed with a gun on a waistband. Savannah Guthrie sharing those images on social media, writing, quote, "Someone out there recognizes this person. We believe she is still out there. Bring her home." Turning now to the deadly mass shooting on Canada's west coast. People in the small community of Tumbler Ridge are desperate for answers on how and why this all happened. CTV's Kathy Lee now with new details from the RCMP, painting a more clear picture of the suspected shooter.
The police tape, the flowers, a closed-off road in front of Tumbler Ridge Secondary School. The marks of tragedy are everywhere in this small northeastern BC community.
My heart is just broken today.
Kyle McKenzie moved to the town of 2400 less than a year ago. Tuesday's school shooting, impossible to comprehend.
My granddaughter and grandson go to this school.
He and everyone here want answers. Today, RCMP revealing more about 18-year-old Jesse Van Rootselaar.
Jesse was born as a biological male. Approximately 6 years ago, began to transition to female.
She dropped out of school 4 years ago and was known to police. Officers have been called to the family home, now also a crime scene, multiple times for mental health concerns, and say Rootselaar was apprehended in the past.
So they bring them to a clinician, there's assessments done, maybe held overnight, and a decision's made whether or not they're safe to be released, safe to themselves and safe to community members.
At this point in the investigation, 2 firearms, a long gun and a modified handgun were found.
Determining the origin of these firearms and what role they played in the shootings remains a significant part of the active and ongoing investigation.
With no clear motive or a suspect to question, police are interviewing friends and family, looking for warning signs.
They will look at the mental health calls. They will look at relationships. They will look at diaries, journals, online presence, all of that to try, and the emphasis is on try, to figure out what happened.
As officers continue their work, police are asking people to refrain from speculating about a motive in the shooting, saying that it's still very early in the investigation.
Kathy Lee, CTV News, Tumbler Ridge, BC.
Fans of the 90s teen drama Dawson's Creek are mourning the loss of James Vanderbeek.
Joey, listen to me. If we are truly meant to be, then we will find a way back to each other. It's as simple as that.
Vanderbeek leading a generation along an emotional roller coaster as Dawson Leary, the namesake star of the hit show. He also starred in the high school football classic Varsity Blues. The father of 6 died at the age of 48 after a battle with colorectal cancer. His wife posting that he, quote, met his final days with courage, faith, and grace. A 26-year-old woman from Windsor has been charged by police in Kingston after an incident involving a young child. Officers say they were on proactive patrol this past Thursday around 8:30 p.m. when they found a group of people using drugs in public. Police say a 4-year-old child was with the group, underdressed for the weather, and the child's mother was also using drugs. Officers say the woman ran into a nearby restaurant with the child where she appeared to be under the influence of both drugs and alcohol. Police say she was arrested and charged with resisting a peace officer and failing to comply with release conditions. The child was turned over to Family and Children's Services. Windsor's harbor master says several risky incidents have already happened on the Detroit River this winter, and he fears it's only a matter of time before someone gets seriously hurt. As CTV's Chris Campbell reports, while frozen spots along the river might look solid and inviting, appearances can be dangerously deceiving.
Recent cold weather has frozen parts of the Detroit River, and that's drawing people out onto the ice. But Windsor Harbor Master Peter Barry says that's a dangerous mistake.
They shouldn't be walking across the river or trying to go out anywhere along the moving river, Detroit River. Yes, it looks easy to get across to Detroit, an easy way in, but that is constantly moving and opening and closing. Not safe.
Barry says just yesterday, 3 people ventured out near the Ambassador Bridge, triggering a police response.
The first one demanded a full police call out, and when the person came back, he didn't see why the big fuss was about walking out. 5 years ago, we had a gentleman do the same thing off Belle Isle, and he tipped on one of the ice floes and died, and we found his body 7 months later. So it is very dangerous. It is unstable.
Unlike a lake or pond, the Detroit River never truly freezes solid.
The water is constantly moving underneath. What was, you thought, a solid piece of ice to walk on is now broken free and drifting down the river and unstable. It's considered fast ice, and no fast ice is good ice.
At Lakeview Park Marina, people who spend their winters near the water say they're staying on dry land.
Oh, I keep my feet on solid ground.
To walk on there, you'd never catch me on there.
And with warmer temperatures on the way, conditions are only getting worse.
Next week, the weather's going to be high 30s, low 40s. It's going to be making ice fishing tough.
To walk out on the river at any time when there's ice season is an absolute ridiculous, poor judgment thing to do.
Barry says anyone who ignores the warnings isn't just risking their own life.
Not only you're putting yourself at risk, but you're putting the first responders at risk. Any time in that water, you have no time that you're going to survive. It's going to take minutes to hypothermia, and we can't help you. We can't come get you.
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Still ahead, you may be surprised at how many Canadians do not have life insurance or have no idea if they have coverage. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joining me now for a look at the forecast. Gary, I am loving the fact that these cold, frigid temperatures are staying in the rear view, and I'm loving the fact that we are seeing these temperatures start to warm up.
Well, spoken like a meteorologist. You're right about that. You've been studying. You've been watching me do this. And Sanjay, I'm with you, in agreement. I think we've had our fill. We've taken a lot in terms of snow and freezing rain and cold temperatures well below seasonal the last 3.5 weeks. And now we're seeing the atmosphere bouncing back and then some. Today was a perfect day. Case in point, to illustrate the matter, above seasonal, both in terms of highs and low. There's been considerable snow and ice melt. There's still snow in the vicinity. This is all lake effect, most of it, especially coming off of Superior, Lake Michigan, Huron. Perfect setup with those northwesterlies, and even Georgian Bay and isolated flurries coming off Lake St. Clair. Lake Ontario, Lake Erie, of course, the southern shores also seeing quite a bit. But we're going to see that ridge of high pressure move in and start to clear things out. We still have a day of cloudiness, and we did actually see very, very light, scattered, isolated flurries. You really had to look for it. But it was there this morning. Most of the snow is well to our north and east. If you're traveling between Chatham, Kent, and London, Kitchener, Waterloo, perhaps the GTA, you could see a centimeter or two over the next 24 hours. Under cloudy conditions with a light breeze, Probably close to about 6 a.m., the low point before dawn. We're looking at -7, feeling like about -14. So it's chilly to start. Take a look at the breakdown for our Thursday. I'm calling for cloudiness to dominate and cold to start, but relatively seasonal to end. By 5 o'clock, we're looking at either -1 or -2 for a daytime high, feeling like a civilized -7, not -17 or -27 wind chill. The next 7 days are glorious. If you want to see or feel spring-like, take a look at this. Highs and lows anticipated. The ridge starts to build in late Thursday into a fair weather. That's a mixture of sun and cloud. On Friday, look at this, -1 goes to +4, and then 4 again with sunshine for Valentine's Day Saturday. Sunday and Monday, warmer still, 5, then 6, and it just keeps going up a degree from there, 7 and 8. A week from now, could see some wet flurries, but they're not likely to hang around. Temperatures soaring, well above seasonal. Not record-setting, but well above. Let's look at your weather.
Ontario has confirmed $25 million in funding for the city of Windsor.
There's an acknowledgement that cities like Windsor have received additional funds or need additional funds to reflect the services that they account for. Think of prisoner transport, for example, or some of the courthouse types of services.
The money comes from the Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund. Windsor-Tecumseh MPP Andrew Dowie saying the province has changed the formula to help municipalities offset certain costs. Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkins says they knew this funding was coming when Council approved its 0% budget for 2026. The money can be used for everything from libraries to public transit, and it will help the city pay for road and sewer work.
Any amount of funding that is provided to the city that we can use generally to offset certain expenditures, we welcome. Certainly we welcome the flexibility that comes with that general allocation as opposed to individualized.
With the cost of living increasing, it can be difficult to pay your bills, and a new survey finds many Canadians do not bother having life insurance. But if you have children or other dependents, it's something you may want to include as part of your financial picture. CTV's Pat Foran has more.
Let's just try this way. Pamela and Luigi LaCourte Vaughn are getting ready for a birthday party for their twins who are turning 1 year old. Even before they started a family, they decided to get life insurance as part of their financial plan.
Now that we have 2 kids, it makes me feel so much more relieved. It's part of our budget now. We don't even think twice about it.
A life insurance survey by Policy Me found 42% of Canadians don't have life insurance or are unsure if they do, and 65% said they are unlikely to get life insurance in the next 5 years. The LaCourtes say for them, it was an important part of their fiscal strategy.
It's not much given the psychological benefit knowing that if you pass, your kids are set up, your mortgage can be paid off, and they won't have any burden.
When it comes to life insurance, people don't think about their debt.
Policy Me specializes in term policies and says life insurance is not as expensive as many people think. A 20-year term policy for $250,000 for a 35-year-old man who is healthy and a non-smoker is about $19 a month. For a 35-year-old woman, the same coverage is about $15 a month. Once locked in, rates won't go up and you can cancel at any time.
The point of life insurance is really to make sure that if that future income were to, not be around because because you pass away, that there is still money there to support the people who are relying on you.
Life insurance is a critical part of asset protection.
Financial expert Evelyn Jack says families should have a will along with life insurance and says when policies are cashed in, they're tax-free.
It's a transaction you should do for yourself and your family to give you some peace of mind.
Finding extra money for another monthly expense can be difficult, but it may be worth it to know in the event of your death, your loved ones will be looked after. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index finished flat today while American markets edged lower. In Toronto, the TSX losing 3 points. In New York, the Dow falling 67, the Nasdaq dropping 36. The Canadian dollar is down 0.16 of a cent. Gold gains more than $67 an ounce, while oil adds 67 cents a barrel. Start your day with the latest local news. Sign up for our newsletter for direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. A new feasibility study suggests the town of Essex could support a hybrid public transit system combining a fixed bus route to Windsor with subsidized taxi or rideshare trips. The study looked at travel patterns across Essex Centre, Harrow, Colchester, McGregor, and surrounding rural areas, noting many residents travel outside the town for work, school, shopping, and medical care. Annual costs could range from $368,000 to more than $800,000, prompting Mayor Sherry Bondi to question whether the town has enough ridership to sustain it. She says exploring government grants could help, but ultimately the decision will fall to the new council. If implemented, the recommended bus could run every 90 minutes to Windsor with fares around $5. Health officials are warning residents in Chatham-Kent issues with sterilization at the Chatham Skin Clinic could lead to the transmission of blood-borne illnesses. Between October 2024 and January 2026, equipment used for skin biopsies and cosmetic treatments may not have been properly sterilized, and that could potentially increase the risk of blood-borne illnesses like HIV and hepatitis. This, according to health officials. Anyone treated at the clinic in the last 18 months is urged to contact their doctor or a walk-in clinic to see if testing is needed. Turning now to a call to action for those who need life-saving blood donations. Canadian Blood Services is urging people to donate blood and plasma as soon as they can after seeing a dip in donations across Canada. CTV's Karis Mapp reports.
Today is my 5th time.
It's probably only about
97.
Whether it's your first or 100th time, Canadian Blood Services is encouraging everyone to donate blood and plasma as soon as they can.
We're just wanting to ensure that we can keep up with the demand that the hospitals are needing.
Donations are down everywhere.
In the next 2 weeks in Kitchener-Waterloo alone, we have over 500 appointments open and available to book into. So that's a potential for over 500 units of blood to be collected, and they're sitting vacant.
The winter weather playing a large role in people canceling their appointments or not wanting to book and leave their house at a time when the need is greater than ever.
When there's icy road conditions, there are more accidents and car crashes and things that would cause the hospitals to need more blood for emergent cases as well.
Some people say they were simply unaware of the process.
I didn't know anything about this growing up or when I was younger, and it never entered my mind to think about it.
Others started showing up because of a personal connection.
A long time ago when my brother was born, he needed blood transfusions. My mom can't donate, but my dad has always donated. And I used to go with him as a high school student.
I have a brother-in-law that's had a lot of blood transfusions, so do it for people like that.
Whatever the reason, organizers say people's generosity could help save a life.
You're helping your community, you're giving back, and you're also doing something for yourself, something that makes you feel good.
Today I'm here donating blood for the first time, and Canadian Blood Services say they need more people to do the same. So they've launched a campaign with an incentive they also hope will be appealing. The Give and Getaway initiative lets donors enter for a chance to win 2 round-trip tickets to any Air Canada scheduled destination.
If you donate one time, you can enter once. If you donate twice in that time period, you can enter twice. If you add a stem cell registry sign up in there, you get a bonus entry.
Regular donors say it's worth any reservations people may have when thinking about the bigger picture.
There's nothing hard about it. It doesn't hurt you. All you're doing is helping people. It's a win-win-win-win-win, right?
Karis Mapp, CTV News, Waterloo.
It's a busy month for the Windsor Express basketball team. The team hosted their skilled trades game earlier tonight at the WFCU Center against Lake Erie, but this Sunday, fans can watch the Express for free thanks to community partners. And later this month, the team returns to Caesars for the first time in 9 years. The team says they're trying to create some excitement to help beat cabin fever.
Back-to-back games and all the heavy theme games, it adds a lot of energy going into March. So we're preparing ourselves for a real March Madness with the team. The team's on a swing right now, some great excitement, and it should take us right into March.
Gary is back with a final look at weather. Gary.
Sanjay, we're talking about warmer temperatures and a steady increase over the next 7 days. Tomorrow, still cloudy. There's a slight chance, very slight, of overnight flurries. I don't anticipate any accumulations of significance over the next 24 to 48 hours, maybe even 72. In fact, the ridge of high pressure, which will take hold late Thursday into early Friday, will bring us fair weather cloud and partly cloudy skies. So that means we'll see sunshine and a southerly flow. That means temperatures will warm above seasonal by about 4 to 8 degrees over the next 7 days. Beautiful day for being outdoors Friday, and so too for Valentine's Day, Saturday. And then 5 degrees, all on the plus side, 6, 7, and 8. Little counting exercise. It looks good next 7 days. Take it all in. A week from now, up to 8 degrees and some wet flakes, but not likely to accumulate. That's a look at your weather. Have yourselves a good night.
And a reminder that tomorrow is grand opening day for LaSalle's newest grocery store. Food Basics in the newly developed Shops at Heritage Plaza will open to the public at 8 in the morning. This is the first of 8 new Food Basics locations to open in 2026. Located on Sandwich West Parkway near Heritage Drive, the store joins a Dollarama, Shoppers Drug Mart, McDonald's, and Tim Hortons. Food Basics' VP of Operations says shoppers will find some great deals and plenty of local faces.
We have hired about 90 people full and part-time to staff the store, some from other Food Basics stores and some that are local. Hopefully people know us well in the area. This is our 5th store in the area. We have 4 other stores in Windsor, and this is going to complement those other 4 greatly.
And that is your news for tonight. Thank you so much, as always, for watching this edition of Windsor's News Leader. Special birthday shout out to our executive producer, Melissa Schultz, who keeps this ship steered in the right direction. Hope you had a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.